Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Monday, October 23rd, and losing my voice here, so we'll try to get through this best we can. The big story is going to be quite a bit cooler and very rain here, especially over the next 24 to 36 hours, but we'll have scattered showers through much of the week, and definitely cooler temperatures, mainly in the 40s and 50s for highs. And we expect again about 3/4 inch to 1.25 inches of rain across the eastern areas, and maybe up to 2 to 3 inches with locally 5-inch amounts. I think especially once you get to the west of US 127 and over towards 131. And that is a shift back to the north and northwest. And again, I'll continue to forecast for our 13 station average of about 1.4 to 1.8, because obviously we'll see a little bit less in the eastern areas or in the southwest Ontario. And if we look at climate data for today, again, our normal high is 56, the normal low is 37, and you can see that our low of 57 is warmer than our average high temperature, and we had a high yesterday, almost 80 degrees, 79.5 degrees, and you can see rainfall out there this morning, and you can see the green area where there are flood watches out, and again, we expect some very heavy rainfall across much of the area, and we'll show you later on some of the forecasted cities in red indicate where I think the heaviest rains will fall, especially for areas like Clarksville and Newaygo. You're going to see a lot of rainfall. In fact, Newaygo, you're up over an inch of rain already for the storm. If we look at conditions around the area this morning, very, very warm conditions. Temperatures in the upper 50s to the low 60s, and again, our normal high temperatures are only 56 degrees, so we're above that already here in the morning. Jasper, your station's down right now. Looks like the computer is offline, so we'll see if we can't get that up this morning. And again, pretty warm out there to start the day. You can see across the state, again, very warm temperatures across much of the lower peninsula with 50s and 60s. Again, this is more like kind of July type low temperatures out there this morning. And if we look at the next map, you can see this is the barometric pressure. Over the next 24 to 36 hours, as that storm moves up into Michigan, someplace in this zone, you're going to see some really low barometer readings down around 29, maybe even as you get up to the north, you may see it actually drop below 29 inches of mercury, maybe 29 or 28.9 or something like that, as the storm's really going to wrap up, and it'll curl back to the west a little bit before it then moves off to the northeast. But again, that'll also create some very windy conditions. Don't be surprised to see some sort of wind advisories for portions of the, well, already do have that for the portions of the UP, but we may see wind advisories at some point here for the lower peninsula as well. If we look at the weather map, this was last Friday, and we talked about this front that on Sunday we'd have to keep an eye on that when the low pressure system developed and where this frontal boundary would be. It looked like initially it'd be across central or northwestern Ohio, and then over the previous few days it moved towards far southeast lower Michigan, putting Saginaw, Lansing down to about Jackson in the prime location for the heaviest rains. Now it looks like the front and the low pressure system will move up near central Michigan, and that's going to bring the heaviest rains down a little farther west. Again, probably the heaviest rains will be west of US 127, but again, all areas are going to see plenty of rainfall here over the next couple of days. And if we look at the weather map this morning, you can see that low pressure system now, as that front is laying just to the southeast of the Saginaw area and around the Lansing area. And again, that low pressure system will move up that front and actually kind of curl back to the northwest just a little bit. As we put the weather map into motion, you can see that low pressure system will curl back towards the UP. And again, very intense storm looks like it's going to get wrapped up across the Great Lakes. And we expect a lot of wind and a lot of rain here over the next couple of days. And finally, that system only very slowly begins to slowly fill and lift off to the northeast as we get later in the week. As far as precipitation, we'll update this many times throughout today, tonight, and tomorrow on these stormfall totals. Again, this is where I want to be to kind of have a correct forecast in that range right here with all 13 stations. And again, you can see the stations that I have in red, Breckenridge, Middleton, Lansing, but especially Clarksville and Newaygo. It looks like you're going to be the big winners on the rainfall with this system. And again, we'll track this over the next couple of days. Excuse me. As far as the WPC, the 0-0 run overnight shows the very heavy rains across much of the area. But if we look at the 0-6 run, and now we're starting to get some of the shorter range models, which does pretty good on convective activity, showing the heaviest rains actually going to be off to the northwest. But again, any place around the area from Saginaw down towards our Blissville, Jasper areas off to the west could see pretty significant rainfall. And again, looks like areas of around Grand Rapids up towards Cadillac and Houghton Lake, Grayling, Gaylord, you're going to get slammed with a lot of rain. Traverse City. And if we look at the next model, this is a GFS as of the 06 run. You can see some very heavy totals possible across many portions of southwest and northern lower Michigan. And if our forecast, you can see temperatures today will be warmest in the morning into the early afternoon. We'll have highs in the 60s. Heavy rain moves in from west to east very slowly as that storm moves closer. And then look at the cool air for Tuesday and Wednesday. Highs only in the 40s to around 50 degrees. We slowly warm up as we get into Thursday and Friday back into the 50s. And we may be looking at another little bit of a wet system as we get into Friday into the weekend again. So a pretty active weather pattern coming up over the next few days. You can see on Weather Watch, very busy out this morning with flood watches across much of the western and the northern portions of lower Michigan. A number of wind advisories and high wind warnings across the UP. Coastal flood advisories and warnings, dense fog in Wisconsin, and then lots of wind off to the west again. And so certainly a very active pattern here over the upcoming week as we transition into some cooler weather coming up. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great Monday, a great work week, and 73s to all.